These 10 hidden symptoms reveal polycystic ovary syndrome. Have you ever felt like your body is a puzzle you just can't solve? A collection of strange, disconnected symptoms that leave you feeling confused, exhausted, and completely alone. Are you tired of feeling like something is wrong, but being unable to pinpoint exactly what it is? Maybe even being told that it's all in your head or that you just need to relax more? You might be struggling with relentless fatigue that no amount of sleep can fix, or sudden mood swings that feel like you're on an emotional roller coaster you can't get off of. Perhaps you notice strange changes in your skin, or a constant battle with cravings that feel impossible to control. These aren't just random occurrences. They are whispers from your body, subtle clues that something deeper is at play. The good news is, you are not imagining it, and understanding these hidden signs is the very first step toward finding the answers you deserve and reclaiming your well-being. In today's video, we're going to uncover 10 of the most overlooked symptoms of polycystic ovary syndrome, signs that often go unnoticed or are dismissed as something else entirely. We're going to delve deep into what they feel like, why they happen, and how they connect to a condition that affects millions of women, many of whom don't even know they have it. So stick around, because recognizing even one of these in your own life could be the key that unlocks the answers you've been searching for, the validation you've been craving, and the path forward to feeling like yourself again. Before we begin, I'd love to know where you're joining me from today. Drop a comment below and feel free to share any part of your story you're comfortable with, because this is a space of community and understanding. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a tip that could guide you on your health journey. First, let's talk about a symptom that so many people experience but almost never connect to their hormones, a profound sense of weariness that goes far beyond simple tiredness. It's crucial to understand that what you're experiencing is not your fault. For so long, women have been conditioned to push through pain, to ignore their body's signals, and to shoulder the blame when their health feels off balance. But polycystic ovary syndrome is not a personal failing or a consequence of something you did wrong. It's a complex endocrine disorder, a condition rooted in a delicate hormonal imbalance that can be influenced by a combination of genetics and environmental factors. Imagine your body's hormonal system as a finely tuned orchestra. When every instrument is playing in harmony, the result is a beautiful symphony of health and vitality. But with polycystic ovary syndrome, it's as if a few key instruments, like insulin and androgens, are playing out of tune. This dissonance doesn't just affect one part of your body, it creates a cascade of effects that echoes through every system, from your metabolism and energy levels to your mood and physical appearance. This is why the symptoms can feel so random and disconnected. It's not you, it's the orchestra within that is struggling to find its rhythm. And you are far from alone in this. Millions upon millions of women around the globe are living with this condition, each navigating their own unique set of challenges. They are sitting in doctors' offices feeling unheard, looking in the mirror feeling like a stranger in their own skin, and fighting a silent battle with their own bodies every single day. There is a vast, unspoken community of women who know this struggle intimately. They know the frustration of an irregular cycle, the pain of unwanted hair growth, the exhaustion of fighting against their own metabolism. By being here, you are stepping into that community, into a space of shared experience where your feelings are validated and your journey is understood. We are here to provide the emotional safety and the sense of belonging that is so often missing from a clinical diagnosis. This is more than just information. It's about creating a sanctuary where you can feel seen, heard, and empowered to move forward with knowledge and self-compassion. So let's begin this journey of discovery together, starting with that all-consuming exhaustion. The first hidden symptom we need to talk about is a profound, bone-deep fatigue. This isn't the kind of tiredness you feel after a long day of work or a poor night's sleep. This is a cellular-level exhaustion. A heavy blanket of weariness that settles over you and makes even the simplest tasks feel like climbing a mountain. It's waking up after 8 or 9 hours of sleep and still feeling like you haven't slept at all, needing to drag yourself out of bed with a physical and mental heaviness that coffee can barely touch. This kind of fatigue can steal your joy, your productivity, and your desire to engage with the world. It's a constant draining presence. The reason this happens is deeply connected to one of the core mechanisms of polycystic ovary syndrome, insulin resistance. When your body is resistant to insulin, your cells can't easily absorb glucose, which is their primary source of fuel. Imagine your cells are like little engines, and glucose is the gasoline. Insulin is the key that unlocks the fuel cap. With insulin resistance, that key doesn't work properly. So even if you have plenty of fuel available in your bloodstream, your cells are starving for energy. Your body tries to compensate by pumping out even more insulin, which creates a host of other problems, but it can't solve the fundamental issue of your cells being underpowered. This cellular starvation is what translates into that overwhelming sense of fatigue. Your body is working overtime, trying to manage blood sugar and deal with hormonal imbalances, leaving very little energy left for you to live your life. But can a hormonal imbalance really make you feel this exhausted all the time? The answer is a resounding yes, because it's not just about insulin. Polycystic ovary syndrome often involves an imbalance in cortisol, your body's stress hormone, which can disrupt your natural sleep-wake cycle and further contribute to that feeling of being perpetually drained. It creates a state of chronic low-grade inflammation, which is incredibly taxing on the body's resources. When you live with this day in and day out, it becomes your normal. You start to believe that maybe you're just lazy, or that this is what being an adult feels like. You might not even recognize it as a symptom because it's been your constant companion for so long. But I want you to know that profound, unshakable weariness is a very real and valid sign that your body is struggling internally. It's a direct reflection of the metabolic and hormonal chaos happening beneath the surface. And recognizing this is not the end of the story, it's the beginning of understanding. But this physical exhaustion is often accompanied by something even more invisible and isolating. The next symptom we're going to discuss happens in the quiet of your own mind, and it's one of the most important to recognize for your overall well-being. Before we move on to the next surprising sign, if this information is already resonating with you, take a moment to hit the like button. It helps us reach more women who might be feeling lost and alone. Now, let's talk about the emotional weight. The second hidden symptom is a significant struggle with anxiety and mood disturbances, including depression. This is so much more than just feeling stressed or having a bad day. It's a persistent undercurrent of worry, a sense of impending doom that can arise for no reason at all. It can manifest as social anxiety, making you want to retreat from the world, or as panic attacks that feel terrifying and overwhelming. It can also appear as a flat, joyless feeling, a persistent low mood that colors everything gray and makes it difficult to find pleasure in things you once loved. This emotional turmoil is a direct consequence of the hormonal dysregulation in polycystic ovary syndrome. The hormonal fluctuations act directly on the neurotransmitters in your brain, the chemical messengers like serotonin and dopamine that regulate your mood. When your hormones are on a wild, unpredictable ride, so is your emotional state. Furthermore, the chronic inflammation associated with polycystic ovary syndrome is also strongly linked to mood disorders. Your gut and your brain are intricately connected, and the inflammation that can start in your gut due to metabolic issues can send signals to your brain that contribute to feelings of anxiety and depression. It's a complex biochemical reaction, not a sign of personal weakness. So when you find yourself irritable, weepy, or consumed by a sense of dread, is it really possible that your ovaries and your hormones are to blame? Absolutely. Think about it. The physical symptoms of polycystic ovary syndrome themselves are a source of immense stress. Dealing with unpredictable periods, unwanted hair growth, acne, or difficulties with weight can take a huge toll on your self-esteem and mental health. When you combine the psychological burden of the visible symptoms with the direct biochemical impact of hormonal imbalances on your brain, it creates a perfect storm for emotional distress. You're fighting a battle on two fronts: the internal hormonal chaos and the external impact on your life and self-perception. This is why so many women with polycystic ovary syndrome feel like they're constantly on edge or struggling to stay afloat emotionally. It's not a character flaw. It is a physiological symptom, as real as any other, and it deserves to be treated with the same level of care and compassion. Acknowledging this connection is profoundly important because it allows you to stop blaming yourself for your feelings and start seeking the right kind of support. But the disruption doesn't just stop when you're awake. It follows you into the night, which brings us to our next hidden sign. The third symptom that often goes completely under the radar is significant sleep disturbances. This can show up in several ways. For many, it's insomnia, the frustrating experience of lying in bed wide awake, your mind racing, unable to drift off to sleep no matter how exhausted you feel. For others, it's fragmented sleep, waking up multiple times throughout the night, which prevents you from ever reaching those deep, restorative stages of sleep. And for a significant number of women with polycystic ovary syndrome, it can be a more serious condition like obstructive sleep apnea, where you temporarily stop breathing multiple times during the night, leading to poor sleep quality and serious health risks. These sleep problems are not just a coincidence, they are deeply intertwined with the hormonal and metabolic issues of polycystic ovary syndrome. High levels of androgens can interfere with the natural sleep cycle. Insulin resistance and unstable blood sugar levels can also be a major culprit. Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night feeling wired or anxious? That could be due to a blood sugar crash, where your body releases stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline to raise your glucose levels, jolting you awake in the process. Can your hormonal health truly dictate how well you sleep? Without a doubt. The hormonal balance required for restful sleep is incredibly delicate. Progesterone, for example, is a hormone that has a calming, sleep-promoting effect. In many women with polycystic ovary syndrome, progesterone levels are low due to irregular ovulation, which removes this natural sleep aid. At the same time, the elevated stress hormones and androgens can create a state of hyperarousal, making it difficult for your nervous system to wind down and enter a state of rest. It becomes a vicious cycle. Poor sleep worsens insulin resistance and hormonal imbalances, and those imbalances, in turn, make it even harder to sleep. You're left feeling perpetually unrested, which then exacerbates all the other symptoms, like fatigue and mood swings. It's easy to dismiss sleep problems as a normal part of a stressful life, but if you consistently struggle to get a good night's rest, it could be a critical piece of the polycystic ovary syndrome puzzle. Paying attention to your sleep quality is essential, as it offers a profound insight into your underlying health. And addressing these nighttime struggles is not just about feeling less tired. It's about breaking a cycle that fuels the entire condition. Can I ask you something? How many times have you felt alone, not understanding what is happening with your body, as if no one around you could truly comprehend? How many times have you described a symptom only to be met with a blank stare or a dismissive comment? I know how much that hurts, and you are not alone in this fight. The isolation that comes with an invisible illness can be one of its heaviest burdens. If you feel this, if you've ever felt misunderstood or alone on your health journey, leave a comment below saying, "I understand this struggle." Write it exactly like that. Your message, your simple act of solidarity, can give so much strength and validation to another woman who is reading the comments right now and needs to know that she is not the only one, that her experience is real, and that she has found a community that finally understands. Your voice matters more than you know. Now, let's move on to a system in the body that most people would never think to connect with a hormonal disorder: your digestive system. The fourth hidden symptom is a collection of persistent gut issues, such as chronic bloating, gas, constipation, diarrhea, or symptoms that mimic irritable bowel syndrome, IBS. You might feel like you're constantly bloated, no matter what you eat. Or you might swing between opposite extremes of bowel habits, never finding a comfortable normal. You might experience abdominal pain or cramping that seems to have no clear cause. These digestive problems are often treated as a separate issue, but they can be a direct reflection of the underlying imbalances of polycystic ovary syndrome. The connection lies in a few key areas: inflammation, insulin resistance, and the gut microbiome. We already know that polycystic ovary syndrome is associated with chronic low-grade inflammation, and this inflammation isn't just systemic. It directly affects the lining of your gut, which can lead to discomfort and digestive distress. Furthermore, The hormonal imbalances, particularly high levels of androgens and stress hormones, can impact gut motility, which is the speed at which food moves through your digestive tract, leading to issues like constipation or diarrhea. But is it really possible that the health of your ovaries is linked to the health of your gut? The growing body of research says yes, unequivocally. A fascinating and crucial part of this connection is the gut microbiome, the community of trillions of bacteria living in your intestines. A healthy, diverse microbiome is essential for everything from digestion to immune function and even mood regulation. Studies have shown that women with polycystic ovary syndrome often have a less diverse gut microbiome, a state known as dysbiosis. This imbalance in gut bacteria can worsen insulin resistance and inflammation, creating a feedback loop that perpetuates polycystic ovary syndrome symptoms. The unhealthy gut bacteria can even contribute to higher androgen levels. So, that persistent bloating or unpredictable digestion might not just be something you ate, it could be a signal from your gut that it's being impacted by the same hormonal and inflammatory processes that define polycystic ovary syndrome. It highlights just how interconnected our bodies are, and how a condition that is defined by the reproductive system can have far-reaching effects on seemingly unrelated parts of your health. Understanding this link can be empowering, because it opens up new avenues for managing symptoms by focusing on gut health. But the signs aren't always internal. Sometimes, they appear right on the surface, on your skin, in ways you might not expect. The fifth hidden sign is a set of specific skin issues that go beyond the commonly known cystic acne. While acne, especially along the jawline, is a classic sign of high androgens, there are other, more subtle clues your skin might be giving you. One of these is the appearance of skin tags, which are small, soft flaps of skin that often appear in areas where the skin creases, like the neck, armpits, or groin. Another, more telling sign is a condition called acanthosis nigricans. This presents as dark, thick, velvety patches of skin, most commonly on the back of the neck, in the armpits, or under the breasts. Many people mistake this for dirt or poor hygiene, which can be incredibly distressing, but it is actually a skin manifestation of high insulin levels. These skin changes are direct visual indicators of the metabolic chaos happening inside your body. Skin tags are strongly associated with insulin resistance, as high levels of insulin can stimulate the growth of skin cells. Acanthosis nigricans is an even more direct marker of hyperinsulinemia, or excessively high insulin, in the blood. When insulin levels are chronically elevated, they can cause skin cells to reproduce rapidly, leading to the characteristic dark, thickened patches. So, could these seemingly minor skin blemishes really be a billboard for a serious underlying hormonal condition? Yes, they absolutely can. They are your body's way of communicating a problem with insulin regulation in a way that you can physically see. Seeing these signs on your skin can be incredibly valuable, because they provide external evidence of an internal problem that is otherwise invisible. Instead of viewing them as mere cosmetic flaws, you can see them as important messages from your body that need to be listened to. Recognizing that the skin tag in your armpit or the dark patch on your neck is not just a random occurrence, but a potential clue to polycystic ovary syndrome can be a pivotal moment. It can be the piece of information that prompts you to seek answers and connect the dots between various symptoms you've been experiencing. The skin is our largest organ, and it often reflects our internal health with remarkable accuracy. Learning to read its signals is a powerful tool, and just as the skin can show signs, so can your hair, but perhaps not in the way you think. This next one is particularly difficult for many women. The sixth hidden symptom is a specific type of hair loss or thinning, known as androgenic alopecia, or female pattern hair loss. While polycystic ovary syndrome is often associated with hirsutism, which is unwanted hair growth on the face and body, it can paradoxically cause the hair on your head to thin. This hair loss typically occurs at the crown of the head or along the part line, creating a wider part or a more visible scalp in that area. It can also manifest as a receding hairline around the temples. It's a slow, diffuse thinning rather than a sudden loss of large clumps of hair, which is why it can be so insidious. You might just notice that your ponytail feels thinner or that you can see more of your scalp under bright lights. This experience can be incredibly damaging to a woman's confidence and sense of identity. The cause of this hair thinning is directly related to the high levels of androgens, particularly a potent form of testosterone called dihydrotestosterone, or DHT. The hair follicles on your scalp can be very sensitive to DHT. When exposed to high levels of this hormone, the follicles shrink and the hair growth cycle shortens. This means the hair that grows back is finer, shorter, and weaker with each cycle, until eventually the follicle may stop producing hair altogether. But wait, how can the same hormones that cause excess hair growth on the face cause hair loss on the head? It seems completely contradictory, doesn't it? The answer lies in the different sensitivities of hair follicles in different parts of the body. The follicles on the chin, jawline, and abdomen are stimulated by androgens, causing the hair to grow thicker and darker. In contrast, the follicles on the scalp, in genetically predisposed individuals, are harmed by these same androgens, leading to thinning. It's a cruel irony of the condition. You might be struggling to manage unwanted facial hair while simultaneously watching the hair on your head become thinner and more sparse. This is a classic, though often misunderstood, sign of the hormonal imbalance at the heart of polycystic ovary syndrome. Recognizing this specific pattern of hair loss as a potential symptom is vital. It's not just a bad hair day or a normal part of aging for everyone. It can be a direct result of your internal hormonal environment. The good news is that by addressing the root hormonal imbalances, it is often possible to slow down or even reverse some of this hair thinning, which offers hope in what can feel like a hopeless situation. From the hair on your head to the signals from your stomach, the next symptom is all about cravings and how your body processes energy. The seventh symptom that is often misunderstood is intense and uncontrollable cravings, especially for carbohydrates and sugary foods. Coupled with dramatic blood sugar swings, this isn't just a simple sweet tooth, it's a powerful, almost primal urge for foods like bread, pasta, sweets, and pastries. You might find that even after eating a full meal, you feel an overwhelming need for something sugary. These cravings can feel like a personal failing, a lack of willpower, but they are actually a physiological response to the insulin resistance we discussed earlier. When your cells are resistant to insulin, they're not getting the glucose they need for energy, even if there's plenty of it in your blood. This starvation signal gets sent to your brain, which interprets it as a desperate need for a quick energy source. And what's the quickest source of energy? Sugar and refined carbohydrates. So your brain triggers these intense cravings to try and get that fast fuel. The problem is, when you eat these foods, your blood sugar spikes dramatically. In response, your pancreas, which is already working overtime, pumps out even more insulin to try and deal with the glucose load. This massive insulin surge can then cause your blood sugar to crash, leaving you feeling shaky, irritable, anxious, and even more tired than before. This is often referred to as reactive hypoglycemia. And what happens when your blood sugar crashes? Your brain sends out those same desperate signals for quick energy, and the cycle of cravings begins all over again. But aren't cravings just a matter of self-control? Can they really be a medical symptom? In the context of polycystic ovary syndrome, they absolutely are. This is not a weakness. It's a biochemical roller coaster that you are strapped into against your will. Living in this cycle is exhausting. You feel trapped between intense cravings and the subsequent energy crashes, which can lead to feelings of guilt and shame around food. It can make you feel like you're constantly fighting your own body's urges. Understanding that these cravings are driven by a physiological need for energy at the cellular level can be incredibly liberating. It shifts the narrative from one of personal failure to one of biological imbalance. It means the solution isn't just to try harder or have more willpower, but to address the underlying insulin resistance that is driving the entire cycle. By working to stabilize your blood sugar, you can quiet the screaming cravings and get off the energy roller coaster, which is a foundational step in managing polycystic ovary syndrome. This internal instability can even manifest in how you perceive the temperature around you. The eighth hidden sign is a difficulty with body temperature regulation. This might feel like you're always either too hot or too cold, regardless of the actual temperature of the room. You might experience sudden hot flashes, similar to those in menopause, where a wave of intense heat spreads through your upper body and face, leaving you flushed and sweaty. Or, you might find that you have persistently cold hands and feet, and you need to bundle up in blankets even when others feel comfortable. This inability to maintain a stable internal thermostat is yet another consequence of the complex hormonal and metabolic disruptions of polycystic ovary syndrome. The body's temperature regulation is managed by a part of the brain called the hypothalamus, which acts as your internal thermostat. The hypothalamus is extremely sensitive to hormonal signals, as well as to your metabolic rate. The hormonal fluctuations common in polycystic ovary syndrome, including imbalances in estrogen, progesterone, and stress hormones, can send confusing signals to the hypothalamus, causing it to misread your body's actual temperature and trigger inappropriate responses like hot flashes or chills. Furthermore, insulin resistance can affect circulation, which can contribute to having cold extremities. Some women with polycystic ovary syndrome also have a co-occurring thyroid issue, as the conditions are often linked, and the thyroid is the master gland of your metabolism and plays a huge role in temperature control. A sluggish thyroid can lead to feeling chronically cold, but can feeling hot or cold really be a sign of something like polycystic ovary syndrome? It seems so unrelated. And yet, when you understand the central role that hormones and the hypothalamus play in maintaining homeostasis, or balance, in the body, it makes perfect sense. Your body is a deeply interconnected system. A disruption in one area, like your ovaries and adrenal glands, will inevitably send ripples throughout the entire network. Your perception of temperature is not just about the weather, it's a reflection of your metabolic health and hormonal balance. So if you find yourself constantly throwing off the covers at night while your partner is freezing, or you can't seem to warm up your hands no matter what you do, don't dismiss it. It could be another subtle clue that your body's internal communication systems are struggling to maintain their equilibrium. And this internal struggle can even manifest as physical pain in your body's framework. The ninth symptom, which is almost never discussed in relation to polycystic ovary syndrome, is chronic joint pain and body aches. You might wake up feeling stiff and sore, or experience aching in your joints, like your knees, hips, or hands, that has no clear explanation from injury or overuse. It can be a dull, persistent ache or a sharper pain that comes and goes. This kind is of widespread physical discomfort that adds yet another layer of difficulty to daily life. The primary driver behind this symptom is, once again, chronic low-grade inflammation. As we've touched on, inflammation is a key feature of polycystic ovary syndrome. This systemic inflammation doesn't just stay in one place. It circulates throughout your body and can settle in your joints and connective tissues, causing pain and stiffness. The same inflammatory markers that are elevated in conditions like arthritis can also be found in women with polycystic ovary syndrome. High insulin levels also contribute to this problem, as insulin itself can have a pro-inflammatory effect when it's constantly elevated. This creates an internal environment that is primed for pain and discomfort. But isn't joint pain something that happens when you get older or if you have an injury? How could it possibly be linked to a reproductive health issue? This is one of the most important conceptual shifts to make when understanding polycystic ovary syndrome. It is not just a reproductive condition. It is a full-body metabolic and inflammatory condition that simply manifests first and most obviously in the reproductive system. The inflammation that disrupts your hormones and metabolism is the very same inflammation that can make your joints ache. It's all part of the same underlying process. For many women, this chronic pain is debilitating. It makes exercise, which is often recommended for polycystic ovary syndrome, feel difficult and painful. It adds to the overall sense of fatigue and malaise. Recognizing that your unexplained body aches could be connected to your polycystic ovary syndrome is crucial because it allows you to address it from the right angle. Instead of just treating the pain with painkillers, you can focus on tackling the root cause, the systemic inflammation. By adopting an anti-inflammatory lifestyle, you can potentially reduce not only your joint pain, but also a wide range of other polycystic ovary syndrome symptoms simultaneously. This holistic view is the key to effective management. Our final symptom is one that is deeply personal and can have a significant impact on your relationships and quality of life. The 10th and final hidden symptom we're discussing today is a noticeably low libido or sex drive. This can be a very difficult and sensitive topic, and it often carries a lot of shame and confusion. You might find that you have little to no interest in intimacy, or that it feels more like a chore than a source of pleasure and connection. This is not a reflection of your feelings for your partner or a personal failing on your part. A healthy libido is dependent on a delicate balance of hormones, energy levels, and emotional well-being, all of which are profoundly disrupted by polycystic ovary syndrome. There are several factors at play here. While polycystic ovary syndrome is characterized by high androgens, the overall hormonal chaos can be the problem. The balance between testosterone, estrogen, and progesterone is crucial for sex drive, and when this balance is off, libido can plummet. Furthermore, the relentless fatigue we talked about as our first symptom leaves you with very little energy for anything beyond the absolute essentials of daily life, and intimacy often falls by the wayside. The emotional toll of anxiety and depression also plays a huge role. When you are struggling with your mental health, sexual desire is often one of the first things to disappear. But how can a condition known for high testosterone, the hormone typically associated with libido, lead to a low sex drive? This is another one of the great paradoxes of polycystic ovary syndrome. While androgen levels might be high in the blood, other factors can override their effects. The psychological impact of polycystic ovary syndrome symptoms like weight gain, acne, and unwanted hair growth can severely affect body image and self-confidence, making you feel anything but sexy. Moreover, the pain and discomfort from digestive issues or joint pain can make physical intimacy unappealing. It's the cumulative effect of all these physical and emotional symptoms combined. Your body is under a state of chronic stress, dealing with inflammation, metabolic dysfunction, and hormonal imbalance. In this state of survival mode, non-essential functions like libido are often downregulated. Your body is simply too busy trying to manage the internal chaos to allocate resources to sexual desire. It's a protective mechanism, in a way. Acknowledging that a low libido can be a physiological symptom of polycystic ovary syndrome is the first step toward addressing it with self-compassion. It allows you to have open conversations with your partner and to seek solutions that focus on healing the whole body, rather than viewing it as an isolated psychological issue. If you made it this far, it means you are searching for answers, relief, and hope. It means you have felt that something wasn't right and you've had the courage to seek out information, to listen to your body, and to advocate for your own health. This channel was created exactly for that, to help you understand your body, regain control, and find solutions that actually work. You're not alone here. We are building a safe space where women like you can find support, validation, and real information that makes a difference in your life. This is a community where you can finally feel seen and heard, where your confusing and disconnected symptoms are understood as part of a larger, coherent picture. You don't have to navigate this journey by yourself anymore. If this is the kind of guidance you've been looking for, the kind of supportive community you've been craving, I invite you to subscribe now and turn on the notifications. Every video is another piece of the puzzle, another step toward clarity, and a step toward a healthier, happier you. Thank you for being here, for taking this time for yourself, and for being part of this incredible community.